Good evening and welcome to the Fuquay-Varina Town Board meeting, February the 1st, 2021. I have asked Commissioner Smith to lead us in our invocation and Commissioner Gardner to lead us in our pledge. All stand.
Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for the opportunity to give us to be here tonight for this board meeting. Lord, I pray that as we discuss issues that face our town, that you'll give us wisdom to make the right decisions that will give the best good for our citizens and for our community. Father, I do pray that you'll continue to bless Fuquay-Varina. I pray that you'll help us to have the wisdom, our staff to have the wisdom to face the challenges that we have each and every day as we try to govern in this town. Lord, and I just pray that everything is said and done here tonight would be pleasing in your sight. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Please face the flag and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I will ask our town manager to review the meeting protocol for public participation as it relates to this virtual meeting. Adam?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. Good evening, board members. All attendees that have joined the meeting tonight have joined muted. There is a public comment period near the beginning of the meeting, and there are also several scheduled public hearings this evening. Therefore, there are multiple times to address the town board tonight, both during the public comment section and during the public hearing section. If the public wishes to address the board during the public comment period, they will need, or public hearings, they will need to notify the town host that they wish to speak. For the public's benefit, if you are joining the meeting online and wish to speak, please press the raise hand button in the Zoom application. Excuse me. If you are joining the meeting via telephone, please press *9 to raise your hand. After you have raised your hand, you will enter into a queue. When the public comment period or the public hearing periods begin, Mayor Byrne will ask the town host to recognize you to speak by calling your name or the last 4 digits of your telephone number. You will be unmuted at this time and allowed to address the town board. We ask you to begin your comments by stating your name and address for the public record. The public is asked to keep all comments to 3 minutes so that all that wish to speak can be heard in a timely manner. Once you have finished addressing the town board, you will be muted for the remainder of the meeting. And this concludes the protocol for tonight's meeting, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
We move to 3A, approval of the minutes of the January 19th, 2021 regular scheduled town board meeting.
Mayor, make a motion to approve the minutes as recommended.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There will be no presentations this evening. That's 4A. We move to 5A. At this time, the IT director will call on individuals that have virtually raised their hand by way of the Zoom app or by telephone. Those wishing to address the town board will be unmuted one at a time. As a reminder, public comment is for those wishing to speak on matters that are not subject of a public hearing. Those speaking are asked to begin by stating their name and address for the public record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes in order that all who wish to speak may be heard in a timely manner. Scott, do you have anybody?
No, sir. I see no hands are raised.
Okay. Thank you. We will move to item 6A. I don't believe we have anything there. We move to 7A, public hearings. Public hearings are a time for the petitioner to present his or her request and for the public to give input and voice their favor or opposition to the request. If you wish to speak, the IT director will call on individuals that have virtually raised their hand by way of the Zoom app or by telephone. Those wishing to address the town board will be unmuted one at a time. Those speaking are asked to begin by stating their name and address for the public record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes in order that all who wish to speak may be heard in a timely manner. Voluntary annexation petition, Charles and April Whitaker, located at 8736 Lake Wheeler Road, ANX 2020-14. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Town Manager Mitchell.
Thank you, Mayor. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider an annexation ordinance extending the corporate limits of the town of Fuquay-Varina following receipt of a petition for voluntary annexation, and to approve the annexation agreement for property owned by Charles and April Whitaker containing a total of approximately 1.63 acres. The property is non-contiguous to the town's corporate limits. Water is available to the property. Sewer is not yet available to the property. The petitioner has signed an annexation agreement as it relates to the provision of town services. At the January 19th, 2021 meeting, the town board instructed the town clerk to investigate the sufficiency of the applicant's petition for voluntary annexation. The town clerk certified at that time that the petition was sufficient and meets the requirements prescribed by North Carolina general statutes. The present total value of the property is $91,150. The action recommended to you this evening is to first conduct a public hearing, followed by a motion to adopt the annexation ordinance to extend the corporate limits of the town of Fuquay-Varina to include the property owned by Charles and April Whitaker, annexation petition 2020-14 as presented and recommended. I'm happy to answer any questions that the town board may have either before or after the public hearing. And I am submitting the agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official record of the town.
Thank you very much, Adam.
Thank you.
The hearing is now open. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of this voluntary annexation petition? Scott, do you have anybody?
No, sir, I see no hands raised.
Okay. Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to this voluntary annexation petition? Scott,
I see no hands raised.
The hearing is now closed. Any discussion by the board? And if not, what is the pleasure of the board?
Manager, you have this as water-only utilities. All other services will be provided by the town,
All other services except for sewer service.
except for sewer. Positive sign to see on this is all the development is around it out there. I think we'll continue to see some of these one-off pieces of property requests to be annexed into the town, which helps the town from a efficiency standpoint, is driving past other customers. And so as more of these that want to become citizens of Fuquay-Varina, and we can service them when we're already out there, really helps out for our taxes and our bottom line.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, make a motion to approve as recommended.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We move on to 7B, zoning map amendment and land use plan amendment. Preserve at Holland, LLC, 804, 806, 808, 820, O and O, Holland Road, REZ 2020-18. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Town Manager Mitchell.
Thank you, Mayor. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider a requested zoning map amendment for a total of 29.67 acres located at the addresses previously mentioned by the mayor from the residential agricultural RA and residential low density RLD zoning districts to the residential low density conditional zoning district RLD CZD, and a corresponding land use plan amendment at 808 Holland Road, property identification number 0666439015, from the rural residential designation to the mixed density residential designation. The subject properties are located in the town's extraterritorial jurisdiction, or ETJ, with the exception of 808 Holland Road, which is located in the town's corporate limits. The properties are subject to annexation. However, an annexation petition has not been submitted at this time. These properties are currently a mix of uses, primarily single-family homes with farmland and undeveloped forested areas. The zoning map amendment petition will request approval of the residential low-density conditional zoning district, RLD-CZD, which is intended to provide for low-density urban residential zoning lot development. The petitioner has requested the following permitted use conditions be made applicable to the subject property, and in this case, it's just one single-family detached homes only. The petitioner has requested a number of site-specific conditions be made applicable to the subject properties. Those are as follows. First, there would be a maximum density of 2 dwelling units per acre, a minimum of 15 or 20-foot Type B perimeter buffer along the parent property boundary as indicated in the landscape plan. 3, the site shall be stage graded. Mass grading will not be permitted on this development. Stage grading is defined by the movement of earth by mechanical means to alter the gross topographic features to include elevation and slope in preparation for construction of infrastructure, and no more than 30 feet from the right-of-way solely for the installation of infrastructure and providing access to developable lots, with the exception of additional berms for landscaping, drainage swells, and borrow pits. Grading completed after the plat is recorded shall be considered individual lot grading and subject to compliance with the Town of Fuquay-Varina Land Development Ordinance. Fourth, all roadway drainage pipes shall have decorative head walls, and all lots shall have decorative head walls for drainage driveway pipes. Head walls shall be concrete with a masonry veneer or stone facade. Fifth, vinyl siding is not permitted. Vinyl windows, decorative elements, and trim is permitted. Sixth, no unit shall be constructed with an exterior elevation or color palette that is identical to the unit on either side or directly across the street. A varied color palette shall be utilized on homes throughout the subdivision to include a minimum of 3 color families for siding, and shall include varied trim, shutter, and accent colors complementing the siding color. All homes will minimally include 1 by 4 wrapped windows, all doors and doors on all 4 sides throughout the community. 6, no unit on either side or directly across the street shall have the same roof line. That was 7th, excuse me. 8, all homes shall have a 2-car garage minimum. Garage doors shall contain windows, decorative details, and or carriage style adornments. 9th, all windows on a side elevation shall have decorative trim, shutters, or shall be a bay window. 10th, front porches, when provided, shall be at least 6 feet deep with decorative posts and include a minimum of 24-inch massing at the base constructed of masonry material. All homes shall have a covered entry or front porch. 11th, each unit shall have a front door with a minimum of 25% glazing, transom, and or door side lights. 12th, eaves shall project at least 12 inches from the wall of the construction. And 13, all homes will be constructed on a 40-inch crawl-space foundation minimally. The applicant's vision for the overall quality and preservation of architectural diversity will be upheld by the commitment and usage of 4 architectural design themes, either modern farm, transitional, cottage craftsman, and timeless designs. In addition, the applicant will commit to the use of at least 6 of the following design features or building materials on all homes. Those would either be dormers, hipped roofs, primed fiber cement cladding, allowing for diversity in color and appearance, brick veneers, painted brick veneers, stone veneers, metal roofing, architectural shingles, screen porches, third car garages, side load garages, shutters, stained or painted semi-divided light front doors. And 14th, The visible side of a home on a corner lot facing the public street or rear facade visible from the public right-of-way shall contain at least 2 decorative elements, such as but not limited to windows, bay windows, recessed window, decorative window trim around the windows, wraparound porch or side porch, enclosed porch, 2 or more building materials, decorative brick or stone, decorative trim, decorative shake, decorative air vents on the gable, decorative cornice, columns, porticos, or balcony. I'm sure that you were able to take from these voluntary conditions that the petitioner has given significant thought and consideration to the product that they intend to put on the ground. Surrounding properties are a mix of residential, agricultural, and undeveloped forests. Existing properties on all sides of the property are single-family residential and agricultural uses. The 2035 Community Vision Land Use Plan calls for the mixed-density residential and rural residential classifications at the subject properties. Although the requested zoning district is not consistent with one of the 2 land use plan classifications, the petitioner has included a land use plan amendment with this zoning map petition. Public water and sewer are available to serve the subject properties and will be installed with future development. The subject properties are located along and have access to Holland Road, which is classified as a 70-foot right-of-way by the 2035 Community Transportation Plan. This street is identified as a 2-lane roadway with sidewalk and side path and a side path. The petitioner held a neighborhood meeting on December 8th via the Zoom application, and that meeting report was provided in your agenda materials. The 2035 Community Vision Land Use Plan, as a reminder, does call for mixed-density residential and rural residential classifications at the subject properties. The land use plan classification of mixed-density residential is compatible with the proposed zoning district, but rural residential is not due to its lower density requirements. Therefore, the petitioner has proposed a land use plan amendment from rural residential to mixed-density residential on property identification number 0666439015. That's the property that is presently in the town limits, 808 Holland Road. This amendment supports the land use plan's recommendation, CF1, invest in existing growth areas, which encourages the extension of utilities and growth of development in areas that are already in the growth process to maximize effectiveness. As such, the requested land use plan amendment is consistent with the 2035 land use plan vision. The land use plan amendment, if approved, would allow for the site to be developed more consistently and appropriately as it relates to the proposed use. Management and staff are recommending approval of the proposed zoning map amendment with the corresponding land use plan amendment. It is consistent with the 2035 Community Vision Land Use Plan vision and is reasonable in the public's best interest for a number of reasons. First, again, as a reminder, although the requested zoning map amendment is not consistent with the 2035 Community Vision Land Use Plan as it sits today, the petitioner has opted to request a change to the land use plan to mixed density residential, which would be more appropriate to the proposed use. Second, the requested zoning map amendment is consistent with the 2035 Community Vision Land Use Plan vision of investing in existing growth areas. And third, the requested zoning map amendment would provide the ability to develop the property as it is proposed. At the January 12th regular meeting of the Planning Board voted unanimously to recommend approval to this board, finding it reasonable and in the best interest of the public for those reasons I've identified. The action recommended this evening to you is to first conduct a public hearing, followed by a motion to approve REZ 2020-18, a zoning map amendment at 804, 806, 808, 820, 0, and 0 Holland Road from the residential agricultural RA and residential low density RLD zoning districts to the residential low density conditional zoning district and the corresponding land use plan amendment at 808 Holland Road from rural residential to mixed density residential. The proposed zoning map amendment with corresponding land use plan amendment is consistent with the 2035 Community Vision Land Use Plan, and both are reasonable and in the best interest of the public for those reasons identified by management this evening. I'm submitting the agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official record of the town, and I'm happy to answer any questions that the town board may have either before or after the public hearing. Thank you.
Adam, I noticed that the property owner on the map that we have in front of us, we've got a name misspelled on there. The first one is core and should be poor.
We'll make sure we correct that for the record, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we'll move into the public hearing. The hearing is now open. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of this zoning map and land use plan amendment?
Yes,
Scott.
sir, Mayor, we have one hand raised. Don Curry, please unmute your mic.
Okay. Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to this zoning map and land use plan amendment?
Yeah, one person. Just one.
Oh, you had one person that's going to speak in favor of it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Don?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir, you too.
members of
And
the town board.
yes, sir.
Thank you so much. And thank you for Mr. Mitchell's presentation of this rezoning. We appreciate your consideration of this request. I'm with Preserve Holland LLC and Curry Engineering, 205 South Fuquay Avenue. So we appreciate your consideration of this. We're really excited about this subdivision. As you can see from the zoning conditions, and as Mr. Mitchell alluded to earlier, we see this as a custom home subdivision with really quality homes coming in here. And so we think this part of Fuquay is ready for that, and we're really looking forward to the next steps, and we appreciate your help with this as we look to move forward with it. So myself and Andy Petty are here on the line and certainly willing to answer any questions you might have.
It appears that you've got a very good location for this project. Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak in favor of this zoning map and land use plan amendment? Scott, you got anybody?
No more hands raised, sir, Mayor.
Okay. Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to this zoning map and land use plan amendment?
No hands are raised.
Okay, thank you, Scott. The hearing is now closed. Is there any discussion by the board? And if not, what is the pleasure of the
Mr. Mayor,
board?
just going to say, I agree with Adam. I really like that there was a lot of attention to the decorative elements and making each house look custom, and I think that's just really nice and nice to see. So I just wanted to make that comment. When I
Absolutely.
was reading it over.
Yes. That's
And
very
larger
good,
lots.
good
It's
observation.
gonna be attractive.
There are a lot of positive conditions here. This is probably one with the most amount of conditions we've had, volunteer
Yeah.
conditions in a long time, and also some of the largest single-family lots that we've seen in a long time also. So
Yeah.
I think this is be a good rezoning. And Mayor, with that being said, I make a motion to approve as recommended by staff.
Second.
We got a motion and a second.
Yeah.
Any further discussion?
I just have a question, it's just for information. Is Holland Road on, the resurfacing for Holland Road on the docket?
It is on the radar screen for NCDOT on their maintenance schedule, but admittedly their funding has been deferred due to COVID and funding challenges. So they're not getting to as much as earlier as they thought. I can follow up with you on when the exact timing is, but
It is
it's
really in
currently
need
on,
of
it's
repair.
currently on their fiscal year 22 plan.
But
Assuming they're able to
Yeah.
keep their funding in place for their fiscal year 22 plan next fiscal year, then Holland Road would be addressed at that time.
Great.
Didn't we check on it and they were going to repair it? We were trying to get them to do some repair.
That's what Commissioner Gardner is speaking of, is the maintenance of the road.
But what you're talking about is
Resurfacing.
in 2022, they're looking to resurface the whole road.
Or at least the portion that traverses in front of these properties.
Okay.
During that
But
timeframe.
they're going to go ahead and do the repair work prior to that.
Repair work.
In the bottom there, I think it was,
You're just talking about potholes and whatnot?
yes,
Yeah, they will address potholes, but the resurfacing wouldn't be until the
Until
larger
2022.
project, 22.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion?
believe it's from Anger out to Fuquay Road on Holland,
From
from Judd Parkway.
Judd Parkway out to
Fuquay Road.
Purefoy Road.
That's right.
Yeah, that bottom there has always been an issue. But it'll be a good thing to get it resurfaced. More and more traffic are utilizing that road, getting to Judd Parkway, and then also getting to Purefoy Road out there. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Very good project, thank you. Okay, we move on to, I believe it is 8A, nope, 7.
7C.
7C. Zoning map amendment, Malwin and Watkins Surveying, PA, 710 South Main Street, REZ 2020-19. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Town Manager Mitchell.
Thank you, Mayor. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider a requested zoning map amendment for a total of .78 acres located at 710 South Main Street from the Office and Institutional O&I zoning district to the Town Center TCR zoning district. The subject property located in the town's corporate limits is currently used as a single-family residence. However, the zoning on the property, office and institutional, renders single-family residential as a non-conforming use as identified by the town's land development ordinance. The requested rezoning is in an effort to bring the zoning into compliance with the existing residential use. The zoning map amendment petition requests approval of the Town Center TCR zoning district, which is intended to provide for residential development of varying types to support the downtown center districts and is applicable only within the Judd Parkway Loop. The TCR zoning district requires submittal of a master plan. However, proposed developments totaling 4 lots or fewer are permitted to submit a plot plan in lieu of the required master plan. This zoning map amendment requests 1 lot, the existing lot, and as such, a plot plan has been submitted. Surrounding property is primarily residential of a variety of densities, making up the neighborhoods that begin the transition to downtown. The 2035 Community Vision Land Use Plan calls for the town center residential classification at the subject property. The land use plan's recommendation of encouraging infill development and redevelopment inside the town limits incentivizes infill development and redevelopment projects inside the town limits as a way to reinvest in the existing downtowns and neighborhoods. The requested zoning district is consistent with the 2035 land use plan classification. Public water and sewer utilities currently serve the subject property. The subject property is located on and has access to South Main Street and Hillcrest Drive. South Main Street is classified as a 60-foot right-of-way by the town's 2035 Community Transportation Plan. This street is identified as a 2-lane road with sidewalks, and it is currently a 2-lane road with sidewalks. Hillcrest Drive is classified as a local street in the town's Community Transportation Plan. A neighborhood meeting was held by the petitioner on December 28th of last year at 139 North Main Street, and the meeting report was provided in your agenda materials. Management and staff are recommending approval of the proposed zoning map amendment as it is reasonable and in the best interest of the public for the following reasons. First, the requested zoning map amendment is consistent with the 2035 Community Vision Land Use Plan for the designation of town center residential and would allow for the existing residential use to continue without further nonconformity. Second, the requested zoning district supports infill development and reinvestment in the downtown neighborhoods per our 2035 land use plan recommendation of encouraging infill development and redevelopment inside the town limits. And finally, the requested zoning district is complementary to residential and institutional uses in the general vicinity. At the January 12th regular meeting of the Planning Board voted unanimously to recommend approval, finding it reasonable and in the best interest of the public for those reasons that I've identified. The action recommended to you this evening is to first conduct a public hearing, followed by a motion to approve REZ 2020-19, a zoning map amendment at 710 South Main Street from the Office and Institutional O&I zoning district to the Town Center residential TCR zoning district. The proposed amendment is consistent with the 2035 Community Vision Land Use Plan and reasonable in the best interest of the public for the reasons that I've identified this evening. I am submitting the agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official record of the town, and I'm happy to answer any questions that the board might have either before or after the public hearing. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Adam. The hearing is now open. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of this zoning map amendment?
Yes, sir, Mayor. We have one hand raised. Phone number ending in 8586.
Please come ahead. State your name and address for the record.
Phone number ending in 8586. Please unmute your phone.
Please come ahead. State your name and address for the public record.
The phone's still muted.
Anybody there? Do you have a way to communicate to them or anything?
I'm asking them to unmute, but the phone's still muted.
Are you able to unmute them?
You're
Are you able to unmute them?
No, I can't unmute them. It's muted on their side.
I wonder if they're talking and we're just not hearing. How about this, Adam? Could we call, do you have the full number or just the last numbers?
Just the last four.
So you don't know who, I mean, you don't know what the phone number is?
It looks like Wayne Muller, phone number, but
Okay. What we got?
I have no way of calling him and patching him in, so.
Can you call, well, Wayne, that's Tony's,
He'll call back, won't he? Can he call back in?
well, we're in a public hearing and he's wanting to speak and he's muted. And we're afraid he's talking and we can't hear him or something.
Is there any opposition to this?
We haven't got that far yet. We're in the,
Oh, there he is.
Can y'all hear me now? I'm sorry.
yes, sir, we can. We hung in here, man. We've been waiting for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Good evening, everybody. It's Chad Goodnight from Malden Watson Surveying.
Yes, sir.
139 North Main Street. We, of course, we submitted this petition. If y'all have any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them for you.
I think we're pretty much good, but you're speaking in favor of it, and we appreciate that very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Scott, do you have anybody else?
No, sir, Mayor.
Okay. Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to this zoning map amendment? Scott, you have anybody?
No, sir, Mayor.
Okay, the hearing is now closed. Is there any discussion by the board? And if not, what is the pleasure of the board?
Mayor, I move that we approve REZ-2020-19, a zoning map amendment at 710 South Main Street from the Office and Institutional Zoning District to the Town Center Residential Zoning District. The proposed amendment is consistent with the 2035 Community Vision Land Use Plan and reasonable and in the best interest of the public for the reasons identified by management and staff.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We move to 7D, resolution for street name change, portion of Wilburn Road. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Town Manager Mitchell.
Thank you, Mayor. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider a resolution to rename the specified portion of Wilburn Road that is scheduled to become a part of Northwest Judd Parkway upon the completion of that project's construction. The final portion of Judd Parkway is currently under construction and is scheduled to be completed in spring of this year. This section of the, weather permitting, I'll put that caveat in there. This section of the parkway will include an existing portion of Wilburn Road, State Route 1110, between its intersection with North Broad Street and the newly constructed intersection with Northwest Judd Parkway. Approximately 3,200 linear feet of the roadway is to be renamed. The remaining portion of Wilburn Road from its intersection with Northwest Judd Parkway west to its terminus at Piney Grove Wilburn Road is unaffected by this street name change. The street name change shall become effective upon completion and the opening of the northwest section of Judd Parkway and will thereafter no longer be referred to as Wilburn Road. No parcel addresses are affected by the street name change, as this matter was previously addressed by the town, Wake County, and the United States Postal Service. The town will be responsible for the updating of the street name signs at the impacted intersections. As the accuracy of street names is important for not only navigating of the town and emergency services response accuracy, it is in the best interest of the public to change this portion of Wilburn Road to Northwest Judd Parkway, effective upon completion of the construction and opening of the completed parkway. There is no fiscal note to report on this. The recommendation to you this evening is to conduct a public hearing, followed by the motion to approve a resolution for street name change for the portion of Wilburn Road as presented and recommended. I'm submitting the agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official record of the town. I'm happy to answer any questions that the town board may have either before or after the public hearing. This has been a part of our plan all along. We're just now bringing it to the town board as we are approaching the end of the construction of this project.
Thank you, Adam. You know, I would make one comment. I appreciate what staff has done to help with getting anyone that had an address in that area. And I know it's been an ongoing project. It's been one that we've been working on probably for well over a year, helping do that. And I appreciate that, and our citizens do too. This will be an exciting time when this road is, this is the last leg of it that goes around Fuquay-Varina. Okay, we'll open the hearing. The hearing is now open. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of this resolution for street name change? Scott, do you have anybody there?
No, sir, Mayor.
Okay. Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the resolution for the street name change?
I see no hands raised.
You know, that speaks highly of our staff's work.
Thank
you. The hearing is now closed. Is there any discussion by the board? And if not, for this and tying Judd Parkway all the way around Fuquay-Varina is a pretty significant motion, Jason.
Mr. Mayor, then I'd make that motion that we approve a resolution for the street name change for the portion of Wilburn Road as presented and recommended.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? It's one of them red letter days. Mm-hmm. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Great job there. Okay. We move to item 8A, consent agenda. What is the board's pleasure on the items on the consent agenda?
Mayor, make a motion to approve consent agenda items 8A and 8B.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We move to 10A, resolution amendment to the Wake County multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Town Manager Mitchell.
Thank you, Mayor. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider a resolution that amends the Fuquay-Varina Annex to the Wake County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan in support of the town's BRIC grant application for dam rehabilitation at Hilltop Needmore Town Park and Preserve. A resolution to amend the Fuquay-Varina Annex E to the Wake County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan is proposed and includes mitigation measures for the what is referred to on the maps as the Crooked Creek Dam. By adoption of this amendment, it adds by reference a number of structural mitigation measures to Table 7.5, which is on page 240 and 241 of the Hazard Mitigation Plan. The following amendments to the Hazard Mitigation Plan are being implemented to meet the planning requirements of the FEMA BRIC program by adding these additional mitigation actions related to a high hazard dam failure. Each of the following measures is aligned with the FEMA BRIC program goals. And so these measures are geotechnical investigation to establish data for risk analysis and development of engineering designs and solutions, implementing engineered design solutions to improve the performance and safety of an existing dam, property acquisition in inundation areas below the dam, raise crest of the dam to increase storage capacity, add additional spillways, widen or lower existing spillways to increase discharge capacity, warning systems to alert downstream areas of potential dam failure, improve flow path below the dam to increase conveyance capacity, encourage conservation or reforestation of upstream land to reduce runoff, development of community stormwater management plans for upstream communities, complete an emergency action plan in conjunction with North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality for all high hazard dams in the county. In this case, this would be ours, and permanently breach hazardous dams or modify risers such that the dam can no longer impound water but may still provide attenuation of peak flooding by acting as a stormwater retention feature. The mitigation items are intended to provide information to better define the potential scope and cost of mitigation of this dam to meet the current North Carolina dam safety, performance, and safety criteria. Management and staff are recommending the town board adopt this amendment to the Wake County Hazard Mitigation Plan Fuquay-Varina Annex E. And the motion recommended to you this evening is to adopt the resolution to amend the Fuquay-Varina Annex E to the Wake County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan as presented and recommended. This, as a summary, was advised to us by the FEMA BRIC grant program administrators that to better qualify us for the grant that we've applied for, these mitigation amendments would need to be added to the hazard mitigation plan.
I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, so moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 10B, Design Build Team Selection, Fuquay-Varina Fire Station Number 4. More information will be presented by this agenda. On this agenda item will be presented by Town Manager Mitchell. You know, it's hard to believe we're getting ready to build the 4th fire station in Fuquay-Varina's jurisdiction. But you do this to certainly keep your call time down and your insurance rates down. And we're moving in the right direction with that. We've been very, very successful. We've got one of the best fire departments in the state, I think.
Yes, sir. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider the selection of the Bobbitt Design Build Team for the design and construction of the town of Fuquay-Varina Fire Station Number 4 and to authorize with Bobbitt Construction Incorporated for design and construction of Fire Station Number 4. At the August 3rd, 2020 Town Board of Commissioners meeting, the board authorized me to move forward with the use of the design-build method for the construction of Fire Station Number 4. As such, a request for qualifications was advertised on October 20th of 2020 in accordance with North Carolina General Statute 143, 128, 1A, design-build contracts, and General Statute 143, 6431, Declaration of Public Policy. In response to the town's RFQ, there were 10 submittals received by the town. These RFQ submittals were forwarded to an evaluation committee composed of town and Wake County staff for review and scoring. The members participating on this committee were myself as your town manager, Jim Seymour, the assistant town manager of development services, Tony Malden, our fire chief, Tracy Stevenson, our public works director, Jim Jones, our deputy fire chief, Mark Forestieri, the Wake County facilities design and construction director, and David Rutherford, the Wake County facilities design and construction project manager. After review and scoring, the evaluation committee shortlisted 4 teams. These teams were invited to meet with the evaluation committee on January 6th of this year for a more in-depth review of their team. The shortlisted teams were Bobbitt Construction Incorporated, Bordeaux Construction Company, Edifice General Contractors, and Samet Corporation. Each shortlisted team made a presentation to the committee introducing their key personnel and offering their preliminary considerations on the project. After discussion and review, the project team from Bobbitt Construction Incorporated was identified as the preferred design-build team. The evaluation committee believed this project team's comprehensive understanding of design and construction of fire stations, coupled with their enthusiasm for the project and their sense of community pride stemming from several key members on the team living in Fuquay-Varina, make them an ideal fit for this project. The committee feels the project team from Bobbitt Construction Incorporated will be a good partner with the town of Fuquay-Varina. Town management recommends to the town board approval of Bobbitt Construction Incorporated as the most qualified project team to undertake this project. Following selection of this firm, town management will enter into contract negotiations for the design-build contract, and in the event that we're not able to reach terms, town management is seeking authorization to negotiate with the next most qualified firm as provided in the list above. If selected by the town board, the town manager and staff will work with Bobbitt Construction Incorporated to develop a scope and fee for the design and construction within the budget amount allocated in our fiscal year 21 budget. The recommendation to you this evening is by motion to approve the selection of the Bobbitt Design Build team for the design and construction of the town of Fuquay-Varina Fire Station Number 4, and to authorize me as your town manager to enter into contract negotiations with Bobbitt Construction Incorporated for the same. In the event that an agreement cannot be reached with Bobbitt Construction Incorporated, the town board authorizes the town manager to cease negotiations and enter into negotiations with the next successfully ranked respondent until an agreement is reached. I'm happy to answer any questions that the town board may have.
I think we're good. Okay, I will entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I just talked to you about Fire Station Number 4. We're moving right on. Wake County is changing, and Fuquay-Varina is too. We're looking to enter into a mutual agreement with Fire Station Number 5, which this is very exciting and an opportunity for us to save tax dollars. 10C item or Fire Station Number 5, funding agreement and memorandum of understanding, joint schematic design and feasibility with Wake County, Garner, and Fuquay-Varina. $45,500, BA 21-22. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Town Manager Mitchell. Adam?
Thank you, Mayor. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider approval of a funding agreement and memorandum of understanding, as well as a budget amendment, BA 21-22, for the joint schematic design and feasibility of a joint-use fire and EMS station with Wake County and the town of Garner. For several years, the town has been exploring the potential for a joint-use EMS and multi-town fire station with Wake County and the town of Garner. Due to current and expected residential and commercial growth in the town's northern quadrant, Wake Tech expansion plans, and the future opening of Interstate 540, there is an identified need for a fire station presence in the vicinity of 1010 Road north of the I-540 interchange. Currently, Fuquay-Varina Fire Station Number 2 is approximately 4 miles from the 1010 Road US 401 intersection. A new station presence north of the I-540 interchange will benefit the public with shorter response times and thereby help to maintain or improve fire insurance ratings in the future. The town of Garner has a need for a fire station presence in this area as well. Currently, their closest station is even further away than the Fuquay-Varina Station Number 2 from the 1010 Road US 401 intersection. And with current development and the announcement of a significant commercial development, the town of Garner has described having an immediate need to construct a fire station in the proposed vicinity. In fact, their need is so immediate that the town of Garner has acquired property near the vicinity of 1010 Road and US 401 off of Caddy Road. Additionally, Wake County has expressed a need for physical EMS presence in this area due to current and expected growth as well as Interstate 540. During the last several years, it's become clear that Garner and Wake County may be on a different need schedule than the town of Fuquay-Varina as it relates to a physical station in the proposed area. Fuquay-Varina management and fire leadership nonetheless do see there being a real need for the town to have a physical fire presence in the proposed area. However, it is possible that waiting 3 to 5 years could be an option that would afford the town an opportunity to financially address other priorities, for example, Fire Station Number 4, while also preparing for the financial implications of constructing a 5th fire station. Garner and Wake County likely intend to begin construction of a joint station in the next 18 to 24 months. Given these variance and time scenarios for each entity, the proposed funding agreement and memorandum of understanding memorializes a plan to advance this project in stages, thereby allowing all parties to make decisions at various points in the process. The first phase in the process is to work with consultants to produce a joint schematic design for a joint-use station, as well as conduct other feasibility, site analysis, and investigation services. The Memorandum of Understanding proposes that all parties will go into this phase together. The expected deliverables in this phase include site analysis, which includes surveys, environmental studies, and any other studies necessary to design and build the project, including any studies which may be required by governmental agencies, program study, preliminary site planning, development of floor plans and building elevations, and construction estimates. The funding agreement contemplates that this scope of work will cost $130,000. Based on the estimated use of the program space, the funding agreement and the Memorandum of Understanding propose that the municipal partners, Fuquay-Varina and Garner, pay a combined 70% or 35% each, and Wake County pays 30% of this cost. The full scope of the project is envisioned as a shared fire and EMS station to serve the Garner Volunteer Fire Department, the Fuquay-Varina Municipal Fire Department, and the Wake County Emergency Management Service Department, with an approximate 16,000 square feet, with 4 full apparatus bays, along with related site work providing approximately 45 parking spaces on property currently owned or controlled by the town of Garner. The precise and final square footages and parking spaces will be confirmed through the design process. Should the town of Fuquay-Varina choose to have their designated portion of the station constructed as a future expansion, the initial constructible area will then be reduced to approximately 13,100 square feet. In such a case, the building shall be designed so that a 4th apparatus bay and associated support space, along with additional parking, can be added for future expansion of the fire fire station, excuse me, unless the town of Gardner for some reason wishes to build the space at the outset. At the completion of the joint schematic design and feasibility analysis phase, which is expected to take 12 months, the memorandum of understanding describes that each party will be faced with a decision point. At that time, two things would need to occur. First, the town of Fuquay-Varina would need to agree that the estimate cost of construction is reasonable and appropriate. And second, we would need to decide whether to proceed to the next phase, which is construction. And this would be applicable to all the parties. The parties will have 45 days to make this decision under the memorandum of understanding unless it's amended otherwise. Should the town of Fuquay-Varina decide at that time that the town is not prepared to move forward with construction, the memorandum of understanding contemplates that the town enter into a separate interlocal agreement with the town of Garner and Wake County to, at a later defined time, pay for the expansion of the facility to meet the town's needs, which is a drive-through apparatus bay, support space, additional parking, furniture, fixtures, and equipment, and enter into a ground lease, right-of-use, license, and tenancy agreement for a minimum of 25 years with no payments due under the terms of that lease. The town would, however, be responsible for a proportionate share of maintenance, repair, and operational costs as provided in a future interlocal agreement. Specifically, under the terms of the proposed funding agreement and memorandum of understanding, the town of Fuquay-Varina would be responsible for the following: coordination. This would be providing staff to work with the county and design consultants as needed during the schematic design and any subsequent design phases, including construction of the project. The town will be actively involved in reviewing and approving the schematic design work submitted by the county and their consultants. Next, upon execution of the memorandum of understanding, the town of Fuquay-Varina shall provide $20,000 to the county as an initial payment toward the cost of developing the schematic design and site analysis phase of this project. Next is review of work. In a coordinated effort with county staff, the town staff shall review the schematic design and make a recommendation to present the schematic design to the town board for review and input. And then as well, there would be a component of acceptance of design. And again, I reiterate that within 45 days of the design consultant delivering the schematic design, scope of design, and estimated cost of construction, the town of Fuquay-Varina shall first inform the county and the town of Garner in writing at the schematic design, scope of design, and estimated cost of construction to be funded by the town of Fuquay-Varina is acceptable, and secondly, shall confirm to the other parties whether they wish to move forward with construction of their portion of the project at that time, or instead choose to postpone it and either indicate an interest in a potential future expansion or decide to terminate our participation in the project at that time altogether. So we do have some exit ramps built into this memorandum of understanding and funding agreement that don't commit us to construction or at least afford us an opportunity for a later future expansion. Management, you were going to say something?
Go ahead. Yes,
Management and staff are recommending to proceed forward with this joint schematic design and feasibility analysis for the proposed joint use fire and EMS station. The cost of the first phase is reasonable and in the best interest of the town. The alternative to not participating in this joint effort would be to later design and construct an individual station in the same general vicinity at 100% of the cost to the town. The town has a statutory obligation to provide fire service to properties within our corporate limits of the town, which continue to grow and expand in this area and frankly go all the way up to the 1010 road intersection. Participating in a joint use effort, as the mayor said earlier, in this area where the borders of two communities, Fuquay-Varina and Garner, come together makes financial and operational sense. Management and staff view the initial $45,500 investment as being reasonable, especially when there is an exit ramp to take should the town wish to not proceed further. Again, our 35% proportionate share equals $45,500 for this first phase. The recommendation to you this evening is by motion to approve the funding agreement and memorandum of understanding between the town of Fuquay-Varina, the town of Garner, and Wake County for the joint schematic design and feasibility analysis of a joint use fire and EMS station, and authorize me as your town manager to execute the same, subject to the town attorney's review as to form. And additionally, this motion should include the adoption of Budget Amendment BA 21-22, which allocates the resources necessary for the design and study. I'm
Adam-
submitting this agenda abstract into the official record of town. I'm happy to answer any questions the board might have.
Yeah, the Wake County is going to participate at the 30% level of the building itself, and that's pretty significant.
Well, I wouldn't lock that in quite yet, Mayor. They're going to participate at the 30% level of the first phase, which is schematic design. As the design work is done, it is and the programming of the space is looked at, it's believed that they will participate at 30% of the construction. It is quite possible that they could participate at a higher
rate,
30%.
Are you basing it on square footage?
Basing on square footage and how that space would be programmed. The use
You
of
know,
that space.
what I like the EMS being at the fire station too, and, you know, those guys and gals work together so well that it really becomes essential that they be at those stations together.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I have a question, Mr. Mayor.
please.
Mr. Town Manager, when this feasibility analysis and schematic design is completed, and we're at that crossroads of having to make a decision, will they be able, with that study, tell us roughly what it would cost to put it off for 2 years or 3 years? Or will it be, in other words, would it be cheaper to look at building it at that time, or what would be the
Yeah,
significant
they will give some
additional
guidance
cost?
on what inflationary costs would
Okay.
be over a period of time. Naturally, it's strongly believed that it will be at its cheapest
Right.
during that time, but there will be some indication, some best practices applied to inflation to give us some general idea of what
Kind of
we
a
could do.
best guess of what it would look like in 2 or 3 years down the road.
That's right.
Okay, that's all I've got.
You know, one thing that's pretty significant with Interstate 540 coming through up in that part of our jurisdiction, and Wake Tech being up there. Wake Tech is in Fuquay-Varina. I mean, we sell them water and sewer. We're seeing a lot of pressure placed on all of our departments in that area, just south of 1010, and I think it makes really good sense to participate in this manner with Garner and with Wake County to do a joint project like this. Any other discussion? I would entertain a motion. I think this is a good opportunity for us.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the funding agreement and memorandum of understanding between the town of Fuquay-Varina, the town of Garner, and Wake County for the joint schematic design and feasibility analysis of a joint-use fire EMS station to authorize the town manager to execute the same, subject to the town attorney's review as to form. Additionally, this motion would include the adoption of Budget Amendment BA 21-22.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We move to other business, manager's report.
Yeah, a few things to update the board on, although we did spend quite a bit of time with one another over the past weekend with our planning retreat, but I do want to make you aware of a few items. First, we have set a new monthly record again for single-family permits issued. In the month of January, we registered 149 single-family permits issued. The previous record was 135, set last October in 2020. So just to give you some gauge of how this differs from our average during the same month over the last 3 to 5 years, we've averaged in the neighborhood of 60 to 65 single-family permits issued in the month of January. And so this almost triples that for the month of January in 2021.
And you know, part of that is it's not just right here in the core where all of the development's taking place. We're starting to see new activity in the outer lying areas of Fuquay-Varina. And that is the reason that we're needing these fire stations.
That's
I
great.
mean, to be honest with you, it's, the outer line areas are really starting to develop up now. You know, we used to see it all just kind of right around here, but it's not that way. You can tell from the approvals that we make.
Yes, sir. Additionally, the budget season has officially begun. Our finance department has, as of today, sent instructions to department heads to begin the submittal process, and I will be getting back with this town board in the coming weeks on scheduling dates for our budget workshop in April. Youth sports registration has been very hot for the spring season. We ended registration on January 30th during the regular time period to register. We've had 1,790 youth participants register for our youth athletics programs. We do have late registration opportunity, and historically in the past, that has been pretty significant as well. So we expect to be somewhere around 2,200 or maybe even more by the time we cut registration off altogether. And this is phenomenal given our current climate. We have provisions in place to safely be able to offer these youth sports and activities. And we're looking forward to the youth in our community being able to get out in the spring when the weather turns a little warmer and have fun participating in our programs. So very excited about that. Do want to acknowledge and congratulate UNC Physicians Network, their medical office building, which was recently built on Highway 401 near the 5 Points intersection. They recently won a 2020 Healthcare Real Estate Insight Magazine Award for the best new medical office building and other outpatient facility. And Curry Engineering, you heard from Don Curry earlier tonight on another matter. Curry Engineering worked with UNC Physicians Network to design the building and their site.
Wonderful.
This is very attractive, nice looking building, providing good services. We'll be providing good services to our community. Glad to have them be a part of our community. Many of you were able to participate in the live streaming of our Park Depot Greenway Trail opening. It was well received and well viewed on Facebook and our other social media outlets. And so we're glad to have that trail open officially for the public to be utilizing and enjoying. It's a very nice amenity for our community, connecting South Lakes, the new Willow Spring High School, all the way to our old Honeycutt Road Park, and ultimately through our sidewalk network could really actually connect back into our town. So it's a nice amenity for us.
Let me ask you this, Adam. I don't know that you know. How long is the big bridge there that goes across the bog or the?
Maybe I'll have an answer for you before I get done with other business.
Okay, it's a very good in length, which I was really impressed with it.
Nice bridge. I'll see if I can get you a response.
Great place for birding and that sort of thing.
Yes, the natural features certainly are nice.
Yes, sir.
I do want to just remind anyone from the public who is participating in this meeting live now or who may watch it later, and we are reminding the public in other ways too through our social media, our website, information that we put out in our Focus on Fuquay newsletter. But just as a reminder about recycling and specifically what is allowed and what is not allowed. After this holiday season, we had a pretty large amount of recycling participation, but unfortunately we did find things in our recycling stream that were not recyclable materials. And so anyone from the public can go to our website. Right on the front page at the very top right-hand corner, there are a number of different buttons you can select. One of them is Waste. That'll take you to a landing page where you can then select Recycle Collection Service. And right on that page is a list of what is and what is not allowed to be recycled. I can quickly mention the what is allowed. The what is not allowed is a much lengthier list, but the what is allowed is flattened cardboard, metal cans, glass bottles, plastics, cartons, and paper. And what you're supposed to do with that is empty and rinse anything that had a product in it, flatten the cardboard if it's cardboard, and place directly in your cart. Do not put it in plastic bags. Plastic bags is considered a contaminant and something that the recycling center will not accept. When non-recyclables are attempted to be recycled, they can contaminate the recycling load, which is collected, and that has the potential to turn the entire load into trash, which increases the processing cost to the town. Ultimately, this could result in higher costs to our customers, which we would definitely like to avoid if possible.
And there are penalties associated with that for us.
That's correct.
For not monitoring it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Additionally, I just want to say that we had what I thought was an excellent strategic planning retreat over the last 2 days. It was a great 2 days of work. We had excellent feedback and direction that was given by the board to help inform the formation of our strategic plan that we're working on, as well as our budget and CIP process. We discussed a great deal of material, including land use vision, community character vision, downtown planning, transportation priorities, quality of life investments in both the parks and arts, fiscal strength, and the list goes on. We had a very heavy agenda over the course of those 2 days. In the coming weeks, future town board meetings, I'll be presenting to the town board a recommended draft strategic plan that identifies the town's vision, mission statement, core values, and objectives and initiatives that we build this plan on. Additionally, there will be a summation of the town's strategic planning retreat that will also be provided to you for your consideration and approval. And so I hope that you found it to be as helpful as management found it to be. And I want to thank each of you for the guidance and input you provided during those 2 days. There is a project status report in your agenda materials. You might have seen or noticed that we are doing a different format with our project status report. We're trying to make it a little bit more concise and informative and not be so bogged down in words, but still get the same effect of telling you what we have completed since our last status report, as well as what remains to be done on these projects. Additionally, as it relates to the budget process, we have taken a step further in trying to get community input and involvement in the budget process. This is something that most communities across the country are trying to get more and ramp up and do more of, is get the public more involved in the budget development process in terms of giving input. Now, we have customarily done a pre-budget public hearing, and we got one scheduled for February 16th, our next town board meeting. We'll do that. But that doesn't always yield input or as much input as may be helpful to our process. And so this year, what we have done, and this is something that we found as an example in other communities around Wake County and around the region, is we have prepared a budget priority survey. And we've put this survey up on our website, front page of our website, as well as on our social media accounts. We'll continue to push this over the next several weeks. This survey will be up through the month of February, and then I will report on the results of this survey during your budget workshop sessions. The goal of this survey is to solicit citizens to give us input about how they prioritize spending and investing. And so there's a number of categories you can see on your screen here. This is the survey. There are a number of categories to include public safety, economic stability and growth, transportation and infrastructure, parks, recreation, arts, and there's 7 of them in total. We ask the question, and we ask, how important is this to you? Is investing in these categories to you? Is it extremely important, very important, moderately important, slightly important, and not important at all? At the very end of the survey, there is a section where the respondent can actually write in specific written input and suggestions for the fiscal year 22 budget. Thus far, since we've had this survey up in a very short amount of time, we've had 150 responses to the survey.
And these responses are all from in town.
They're in town. Here, the only way that this survey we can handle this survey is we ask the question: do you live in the town limits of Fuquay-Varina? We cannot verify that through the survey, but our hope is that people are being honest and responding in an
I
appropriate
understand
way.
the difference.
What's that?
I understand the difference in a mailing address and limited telephone.
Yeah,
We actually said live in the town limits. That's the question. Do you live in the town limits?
Yeah, I know the question is, but people answer it.
We did not ask. We initially thought to ask, do you live in in Fuquay-Varina, or are you a Fuquay-Varina citizen? But there are people who don't live in the town limits that consider themselves Fuquay-Varina citizens. So we
well, do
specifically
they fill out their address for
They
you?
cannot fill out their address as a part of this.
Okay.
And when
You have to
it'll
take
still
it
be
for
fairly
what it
accurate.
is.
It'll be
It'll
good.
pretty-
It'll be
When
pretty good- good deal.
was it available?
We started less than a week ago.
I'm excited about this. I think it's a good thing for all of our citizens, and it gives them an opportunity to, like you said, pre-budgetary time period, to give us some good ideas.
Yes, sir. In addition to the 150 responses, we also have received 45 individual written input ideas and thoughts for the fiscal year 22
Good.
budget as well. And so we're getting some input that in years past we've not received on the front end of the budget process, where we've only offered the public hearing alone.
Well, you might have received it through a commissioner or.
We may have, that's
through,
right,
you know,
not through the public
that sort of way. This is a very good way to get the information. And, you know, what I found out is many times citizens have good ideas that help us a lot, things maybe we haven't thought about.
That's exactly right. I mean, we try to be thoughtful and visionaries about the community, but we certainly know that our community and our public have good ideas as well. We want to try to get those out of them.
Encourage it.
I
Absolutely.
will also say that, again, we will have our pre-budget public hearing on February 16th. And finally, I will just remind the board and the public that might be tuning in this evening that on March 1st, Mayor Byrne will be delivering the State of the Town address, and this will be at 6:30 p.m., 30 minutes before the regularly scheduled town board meeting that evening. The 6 of you will be in this room. It'll be a little bit different this year in the fact that we won't have public that will be able to attend due to COVID, but we will be live streaming and via Zoom as well. So if those who are interested in tuning in and receiving this State of the Town address, we'll be able to do that at 6:30 p.m. on March 1st. And the bridge is approximately 350 feet in length.
100 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's over that, yeah. And that's pretty significant, but it's a beautiful place. In the spring of the year, I know it'll be gorgeous in there. I guarantee you there'll be people out whenever the winter bird count is on that bridge, helping out.
Okay.
Thank you, Adam.
All right, thank you. That's all I have for this.
Yes,
board
sir.
this evening.
Mayor Pro Tem Massengill, any words of wisdom for us tonight?
One department I want to recognize, you mentioned earlier about cold weather and what's been going on with the cold weather, and tomorrow is Groundhog Day. And so the water department, I know, has been out there actively fixing frozen water lines that expand and contract with these rough temperatures, no different than how cold it is tonight in the past couple of days. And when these temperatures spike, it makes a water line pressure spike, in which the lines break, and then our staff has to go out and repair cold water lines in the frigid night. And that's a very cold and very tough job. I want to recognize them and how much I appreciate what they do for us. And I am rooting for them with Groundhog Day tomorrow. Now, I don't know whether he needs to see it or not see it, but I just want the correct action to happen so that the cold weather goes away, because I'm not a cold body either. But Public Utilities Department, thank you for what you do, and we appreciate all of our town employees, but do recognize that cold weather outside right now.
Especially now, that's right.
Thank you, Mayor. No further comments.
Thank you. Commissioner Smith.
Yes, sir. Just briefly, I'd like to commend our entire town staff for all the hard work they put in behind the scenes, getting ready for our town board retreat, and of course commend our management staff for the way it was presented. I thought it was very useful, very informative, thoroughly enjoyed it, even though it was a lot of hard work. So good job by everybody on the town staff on the town retreat.
Thank you for acknowledging the staff, the various department directors, and even members of their team spent numerous hours helping to prepare the materials for your consideration. So thank you for that.
Commissioner Harris.
In regards to the project status report, I was excited to see that you have the citizen engagement platform on schedule,
Yes, sir.
and it is to go live March the 31st.
That's the plan, barring no hiccups, and we do intend, I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted to also say, as it relates to pre-budget input,
Right.
we do hope to use that community engagement tool to further engage the public in giving input, not just on the budget process, but lots of projects and programs that we might do throughout the course of the year. But the budget could be one of the first ones that we get to solicit their involvement on.
Yeah, I thought that's a very good tool, and I like the idea as far as the opportunity to have the pre-budget survey to get feedback from the citizens in regards to future budgeting. I also would like to say that I always appreciate attending the retreats and getting updates as to where we are financially, as well as the overall operations and services in the town. I appreciate the information that was shared and the process this time as far as identifying those core, what I would term to be core values of our community, and then at the same time having the opportunity to provide feedback. And the way that it was presented, I thought that it was done in an excellent manner. And so I'd like to give my thanks to you and to the staff that participated, assistant town managers, both. I thought they did an excellent job.
Thank you.
You know, we're trying harder and harder to find ways to communicate with the public. And this is an exciting time. Technology is your friend. And you're able to do that, and I think that's marvelous. Commissioner Wunsch.
Thank you, Mayor. I too wanted to echo that I really enjoyed and was once again extremely impressed by the retreat, the preparation, and the amount that we were able to cover. Your Mr. Manager's presentations and Jim and Mark. It was just a great, it looked like a great and team effort, as well as the work of department heads to get ready. It was just I think every year is just, you think this is the best retreat I've been to, and then the next year is even better. And so I appreciate it, and would just end on by saying that it makes me very excited about the future of Fuquay-Varina, to be able to live in a town that's just having so many positive things happen and so many positive things in the future. And to our board members, I appreciate all of you.
Thank you, Commissioner Wunsch. Commissioner Gardner.
I would like to add my thanks to the staff for all the work that went into that retreat, because it is 2 very, very full days, and we would not be able to cover what we do under your leadership, Adam, and that of our 2 assistant town managers too, if it weren't for that preparation that they put in, and it really is greatly appreciated. And I too like the format this year, because I feel like we came out with, the bones for our strategic plan. We came out with, some guidelines for budget season. We came out with so many results that are going to help us get through this next few months and years in terms of the planning. So I enjoyed it, and I like all of these people. They're pretty fun to be with too.
Just a few comments about the retreat. First of all, I'd like to thank each of y'all for attending the retreat and dedicating your time and energy in the retreat, because the retreat is for the town board members. This year's retreat was a little different, but I was impressed by both Mark and Jim and Adam, but the timeliness of all of it. And, we stayed pretty much on track with each of the managers and as they shared with us about things that they were looking and felt like we could be doing in the future. It's always exciting when you hear it from them, you know, and they did an excellent job, no question about it. I give Adam a lot of credit for this year's, the way it was presented this year. Good job, no question. Let's see. I was going to mention a few things. We had Campo meetings this week, or this past month. Now we're into February. February. The Metro Mayor's legislative update call, participated, or I think Adam was on that one. The Wake County Joint CAC meeting. We did the ribbon cutting out at Park Depot Trail, which was really exciting. And we had a Metro Mayor's weekly update phone call again. Today, Adam and I met with our NC State Representative, Aaron Perret, and had a wonderful meeting with her, and this was at her request. And I appreciated it very much, and it was kind of a timely meeting for us, and I just appreciated her reaching out, Adam, to us. Adam and I spend a lot of time, preparing and taking things to the legislature, as working with our town board, but it's really nice when your legislatures come to you, and I appreciated that very much. Let's see, we have a swearing in of a police officer tomorrow. Good. We'll also have a video call with Senator Batch. I've got a Centennial Authority meeting this week, a Metro Mayor's legislative update call. We're going to have I think this is a video meeting with the Southern Wake Academy.
That's right, the school leadership there. We're going to have a call with them.
Okay, and another Metro Mayor's call, and Wake County Mayors Association meeting coming up, this month. I would close in saying tonight, our town tries very hard to do good things. And I truly believe we do great things in many cases. Sometimes we stump our toes. And, you stump your toe and you learn from it, and you get better and better and better. When you stump your toe, it creates an opportunity for you. And those opportunities we need to take advantage of. But we have how many people now, Adam, working with us?
283.
283 people working, and I'm not sure of the number here, but there's probably 60 or 80 that are working 24 hours a day. In other words, there are many people working for our town when we're asleep in bed. Many of our services are 24-hour-a-day services, and they protect us when we can't, protect ourselves. And I think our Mayor Pro Tem said it, exactly right. This time of year, is a very tough time of year, and it's going to be tougher the next few weeks, you know, to be outside. And our people working on our sewer pipes and water pipes, this is the toughest time of year for them, and they're very much appreciated. Okay, I think that is all I have, Mr. Town Manager. Do you need a closed session?
No closed session this evening.
Okay, I will entertain a motion, Mayor Pro Tem, or whoever wants to.
Mayor, make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Adjourn. Scott, you got us off?